Hey, good evening, Sergio. How you doing, brother? What's up, Jason? How you feeling? Good afternoon. Good evening. Good evening. Try to share the live with as many folks that's on the Map Store site, so we can try to get it one time. I know we're not going to really get it one time, but there's a lot of information out there. So, you should ask a lot of questions. I'll start off by saying you should ask a lot of questions, and because I'm an elected officer, I'm a little cursed. It appears that a lot of the membership don't really trust the leadership of the union. Some of it is narrative based, and some of it is some of your experiences that you have with offices and locations that you work at, and all understandable. So I'm just giving basically what was presented to us and what I felt. I'll tell you guys, now going in to this executive board meeting, I went in with very negative thoughts. I had an interview by Dan Rivari. As I was walking, I kind of made a big mistake this morning. When I went to the Union Hall, I went in my TWU jacket, and there was the media sitting at the Union Hall. So as I was walking in, they asked me some questions. Of course, I said, I guess they must have assumed that I have saw the agreement, and I expressed that I didn't see the agreement, and that I would have to see the agreement before I commented and send it to the membership. Now, let me just educate everybody real quick on how this process works and how the process has worked ever since I came on this job. The union obviously has a union committee that negotiates contracts. Once the contract is settled tentatively between the transit authority and the MTA and their union, then what happens is you go to an executive board, because the executive board is the governing body. So we go over the terms of the agreement and we vote whether we're going to send it to the membership. Right? That's what happened today. We voted for you to go to the membership. Now, there's a lot of information that's out there. Some of the information that's out there right now is not accurate, but I'm not willing to throw anybody under the bus. I just want to teach and educate. The bylaws, like there was on another site, that there was some talk of the bylaws and coming to the division meetings to vote up a contract or vote down a contract. That is not how the process is. Once the executive board votes for the contract, you guys will get a copy of the contract with a ballot to vote yes for the contract or vote no for the contract. And at the end of a period of time, the tallies will be taken, and it'll be determined if we have a contract that is accepted by the membership. So I'm going to start. I'm just going to kind of read from my notes, all right? That's all right with you guys. I just want to give some information. It's kind of what I wrote earlier for you guys to look at, but it's, I was doing things so fast that maybe there was some confusion on some things. There was 49 executive board members in attendance this morning. The president's report, which was the contract, was read by Dennis Engel, our attorney, union attorney. The memorandum of understanding term it's a 4-year term. The first year is 2%. The second year is 2.25%, and the third year is 2.5%, so it's 2.5%, and the fourth year is 2.75%. All right, that's compounded. That's a 9.884 compounded raise over 4 years. There's a retro option where you can roll any of the retro money over to your 401k if you have a 401k, and it goes back to May 16th of this year. The overtime cap is raised by 150% of any of the wage increases. Now, what the overtime cap is basically when you get a raise, right? And let's just like talk in current talk. You bus operators right now make $34.06 an hour, right? So you can make 150% over that wage, which comes somewhere in the amount of $153,000 that you get capped at. It's for the person. I'm pretty sure anyone who's been in the depot who says, "Oh, heard the words, I've been capped." That's what the cap is. So you are with these raises, the cap will go up 150% of the raises. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Line of duty death benefit went up from 25,000 to 50,000, and active duty death went from 250,000 to 500,000. In the event that something happened to you, this is what your beneficiary will get. All these benefits are inclusive of any sick balances, which wasn't there before. If you are a maintainer, you get a bonus increase of $150. The computation passes. It's the MTA, TA, and OA. We're all getting the computation passes. The OA TA is going to be allowed to ride on express buses, including the MTA buses. We're getting the whole shebang with the bus passes now. Restricted duty. For the purposes of restricted duty, they're going to put some set aside jobs. It's going to be a management union committee to discuss it further. Where the whole object behind the restricted duty set aside jobs was geared towards pregnant women. However, we can't call it just for pregnant women because of discrimination issues. So it will be open to everybody. So that's the set aside jobs for restricted duty folks. Each department may call it a little bit different. Medina, I'm gonna explain everything. Let me just go through it, and then you guys will ask your questions, and then I'll explain what I can, what I can. Okay. But moving on, dental and vision, we have an increase in employer contribution, $4 per member. In improvements, it's I didn't really get to write all the notes on it. I got bone replacement grafts, and there was some other stuff that's there. I wasn't able to write that all down. We also got an increase of out of network money raised up to $1,800. Our health benefits the new health benefits will go into effect May of 2020. The copay for generic drugs is going to be $0. A name brand had went up from $10 to $20, and specialty drugs is $40. Now, specialty drugs with was explained to us was anything that's like rare, that's new, that's like coming on the market. Where I guess that I don't want to say testing it because I don't want to say the wrong words here, but for lack of better words, it's supposed to be some rare drugs they use to treat illnesses, which is considered a specialty drug. So that's the copay that is going to be charged for those things. We haven't had a charge on that before, so I'm going to say, for the purpose of this conversation, that that's one of the give backs. In addition to that, there's been people who've had, I guess, specialty drugs in the past that were getting denied, and we was constantly fighting and grieving to get them covered. So I want to say that getting this in the contract got them covered without having to put it through the grievance procedure. The Aetna coverage, this is the one with the copay, is now gonna cover our membership nationwide if you choose that copay one. You're gonna be covered nationwide. All right. Retirees are gonna get something similar, which is gonna be discussed through the Retirees Association at some point. The emergency room, which is another huge thing. The emergency room. If you go to an emergency room, you're not admitted into the hospital, you will be charged $100 copay. This is put here, I guess, to start moving the less serious illnesses or less serious emergencies into urgent care. So the urgent care, even if it's an emergency, you're not going to get charged. But if you go to an emergency room and you get admitted into the hospital, then the $100 copay is waived. But if you don't get admitted into the hospital, there is a $100 copay that is due. Okay? As far as our dependents on our coverage, the authority is going to be doing a dependent verification every 5 years. And what that is for those of us who still carrying dependents, and I think we can carry them up to 26. What they're gonna do is they're gonna make sure that they didn't probably age out or married and on someone else's coverage. They're gonna make sure that they're gonna verify that you technically could be carried on the coverage, and that's gonna be done every 5 years. There's no increase in employer contribution to the medical plan. It still stays at the 2% that it is now. We've been told that it's low for the industry. On average, we're still paying the lowest amount within the country. There's been something added into the contract that there will be a fair evasion. It's something, a fair evasion, and it's still something that's got to be agreeable to the parties. So that's something that we're going to be looking at, because I think with the change in fare structure, the MTA is looking at different avenues to try to protect the fare. So we already have traffic checkers that kind of do some fare evasion work, and as time goes on, I'm going to be looking as jobs start to change. I'm going to be looking to make sure the traffic checkers are protected in that area. Overtime equalization. Now, this language actually exists in the contract already. The transits are saying that they're going to enforce it especially with all that news media about stealing overtime. Where overtime equalization actually is that the union, like in with us in Map Store, where we issue out the overtime to the membership, and the managers are supposed to actually look to see that the distribution is fair. Well, now it's gonna be enforced. It has to be fair. All right. We got the New York paid family leave. That's still negotiating on that, but it looks like something that's gonna happen. I mean, it's just something that they're gonna take like something 0.00% out of your checks, and we have to have a more discussion on it, because the question is, does it run concurrent with FMLA, or is FMLA stand on its own, and does the New York paid family leave stand on its own? And in prior discussion, maybe earlier in the summer, in certain meetings, I've found that they stand on its own. If you got FMLA, you got FMLA, but I don't think that they run together. So we got to stay tuned on that one for more information. It's in the MOW department, elevators. There's something that was put in the contract that they have to expedite the installation of elevators and to comply with the ADA law. So that's going to bring probably work and overtime into MOW for the purposes of expediting elevators. Now the holiday swap, which is the day after Thanksgiving, there was a question about, well, we have that already. And to answer that question, we had that already in the Department of Buses. The rest of the union did not have that. They still was under the old contract where they had Lincoln's birthday. So now, the bargaining unit wide, it would be the day after Thanksgiving will replace Lincoln's birthday. Okay. Employee availability and mutual swaps. Now, I think this language really applies more to like RTO and in some of those departments where the scheduling could be different. So I think in the old agreements, the swaps had to be exact. I think that they're moving away from exact swaps, and you can swap with anybody within the department without issue. Now, I can't really speak on RTO issues. I'm only writing what I thought I understood. All right, so don't hold me to that. You got to talk to if you're RTO on here, you got to talk to an RTO rep. All right. The sick cash out is going to be continued. What they want us to improve our availability by a day and a half, right? And what they will do is they'll take an average for the years 2018 and 2019, and for 2022 and beyond, it will be a day and a half. But let's use the day example. If we were to improve by a day, that will be a savings of $14 million, which will be shared equally with the union. $14 million. We can use it maybe for another benefit. It's called gain sharing. So if we improve a day, we'll get that for the purpose of gain sharing. All right. That falls in line with what I just said about the sick leave cash out from 2017 that we won. That you'll get half your balance no matter what you have in the bank. We are continuing that from program up to December 31st of 2020. So it's like a review part every so often. So December 31st of 2020, that's next year, we're going to see if we improved by a day or a day and a half. Now, the departmentals. Women's Committee, that's going to be continued. One of the things that I want you guys to take note of is the supervisors in the event of domestic violence or anything very, very personal. Supervisors will be blocked from knowing your business. So that's something that's going to be between your union and upper management. This will hold the privacy that needs to be put into place, because we know in certain locations, people's business is spread rampantly, and we're trying to prevent that. All right. Car equipment division, the parties are exploring promotional opportunities, and also there's a discussion on productivity that has to be mutually agreed upon, and I guess that would come with some type of bonuses for them. That's something that's ongoing, I think. Still has to be still agreed upon. OA TA security at TPPA, cleaning of booths. They put something in the contract to make best efforts to make sure that these booths are cleaned for the property protection agents. All right. Stations department. The parties are to meet to discuss the impact of Omni. Now, for the bus operator, Omni system is that tap and go that you're starting to see in the buses, and in the subways is a tap and go. So that's going to have a big impact on jobs for the future. So they're looking to meet to see how we can reorganize jobs, because the goal is not to lose any jobs. All right. And that's also done in the revenue department. So any of my operators who are currently serving in CRF, this applies to you too. Well, it doesn't really apply to you so much, because in the event that they do a job reduction because of Omni, you just come back to being a bus operator, so you don't have no worry about jobs. Some of the earlier discussions in the contract fight, we was talking about bringing a lot of people over to be bus operators, but that was just talk at the time. So we might have to do something concrete. I think 2023 is when that Omni goes into effect. It's going to replace the Metro card. RTO. They amended some languages in the RTO part of the contract for where you can cash out 2 weeks, and I can't really explain that. That once again, the RTO has to explain that, but it's supposed to be something beneficial for about 2,000 members in RTO. So they have to explain that. But one pivotal point for RTO that they did win is they won the cell phone STIP that we have in the Department of Buses, and that's a big win over there in RTO. Also, they're doing a pilot to do vacation reliefs electronically. All right, it's going to be a pilot program to do a vacation relief electronically. They eliminated what they call the rubber room. That's the 10 days if you get injured on duty in RTO. You have 10 days, like a restricted duty status. They send you to PS 248, 130 Livingston Street, or 180 Livingston Street, just to sit around and basically do nothing in order to receive your workers' comp and differential. That's been eliminated. It's also been eliminated for Mapstower Division 2. No more rubber rooms. All right. The parties recognize in RTO, the parties, and this is according to Andy Byford, where it was recognized that the difference between minor violations and the major violations, and what Andy Byford would see as a willful to violate rules as maybe just a mistake. So they're looking to have more discussions on that to bring down the discipline in RTO. MTA bus. They're still talking. It's an additional to the agreements in the DOB. Those discussions are continuing with TAOA and MTA bus, but the maintenance portion is supposedly got the same bonus as the TAOA, which is $150 bonus. Now the TAOA and MTA bus side is an artic pay increase from $1 to $2. It's still based on vehicle time. It was easier to raise the dollar amount than to attack the vehicle time because there was a lot of pushback on that. So we opted to get the dollar amount increase instead. Out of state CDL. So if you live out of state, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, you're gonna now get a $100 reimbursement for your CDL. New technology, autonomy. There's going to be a committee put into place, and we're looking, or it will be added to the collective bargaining agreement that only bargaining unit employees will be a mandatory subject of bargaining with us, and we're talking about autonomous vehicles because we see that there's a lot of driverless vehicles around, and we're trying to get ahead of the curve and put it into our contract, so as in the event that ever came around, they have to bargain with us on how it would come around. Traffic checkers. Now, traffic checking, when I was in negotiations with traffic checkers, they gave me a hard time. They don't want the traffic checkers to move. I kept the traffic checkers to the president, to anybody who would listen to me. I kept the traffic checkers' names out there. I kept the issues out there. So they got it in the contract about promotional opportunity discussion. I voiced my concern about it only saying promotional opportunity discussion. I was informed that there was some issue that was going to go to PERB because they was failing to negotiate in good faith, and that this being put in the MOU of the contract is going to be something that is going to have a little teeth because the president is going to be involved with negotiating something for the traffic checkers, probably with Andy Byford. So stay tuned on that. I'm not letting that issue go. Grievance and discipline, to create 2 reps from each side. Any changes have to be agreed. But there was an amendment in section 2.2. It was now when you get a violation, a major violation, all right, a major violation. Let's just call it an insubordination or a major accident in the bus. You have between 5 and 7 years before the your penalties start going backwards, and this has an impact on a lot of my operators who are trying to promote to dispatcher. If they had something major, this 5 to 7 years will hurt them. So we got the 7-year portion reduced to a flat 5 years, which is huge. That's huge. You don't even know how huge that is. That's huge. In the stations department, they got this thing with deep cleaning, and the TA intends to enter 160 to 180 subcontracts to do deep cleaning in those stations. We got written into the contract that the authority recognizes this as traditional work of the union. So whatever the contractors will be doing, it'll be a phase-in training to our current membership over there in stations. The no layoff, there's a no layoff clause put into stations specifically for cleaners because of the issue. So there's been a no layoff clause put into the contract for the cleaners for the term of this agreement. All right. There was a motion put on the floor to accept the proposals. The contract passed the executive board, 42 yes, 4 no, and 3 abstentions. Now, ask the questions. I don't want to be no salesman. I thought that this contract was decent to send to you guys, and that's why you guys have the contract right now, or will be having the contract, along with a ballot, and it's up to you to vote. Now, as I said earlier, I recommend that we vote the contract up, but I'm going to leave that totally up to you guys. All right? Now, I've answered a lot of questions. I want to scroll down a little bit just to see some of the questions that were asked. If you're going to as far as anything specifics on dental, they got some documents out there. I don't have them available to me to say anything about them. But let's just say CG Rodriguez, how can they charge us any percent on our right to FMLA? They can't charge you on your right to FMLA, CG. What that is that's the New York, that's the law, the New York paid family leave law from New York State, and what that requires is a payment to opt in. The union doesn't have to opt in. There seems to have been some type of contract demand to opt into it. So there is discussions on it. We want to see how it impacts those of us who qualify for FMLA, and could you use them both? Which I don't think you can use them both. Yes, let me tell you. Okay, Queens, Shy. More money is always better. But I'm gonna tell you guys something. You could take it at face value. You could take it the way you want to take it. We was in here in negotiation with these, I want to say these devils, because that's what they truly are. They truly don't give a shit about us, right? The percentage raise, unfortunately we don't see the raises that we've seen years ago. But the raises that we have here, while it's not what we wanted to see, I don't see it as a reason to knock down the contract. And if somebody feels, or people feel like want to knock down the contract, that's your right. But like I've heard somebody say, well, we need to knock down that contract because we can do. And the answer was, well, we can do better. And okay, we can do better. Better in what? Better in what way? And I'm not saying that you're not right. I'm saying explain yourself. What can you do better in? Now, I'm not taking no shots at nobody. All right? I don't think our union membership is ready to walk off this job. I certainly don't think RTO is ready to do that, because when we was doing little actions, 19As, doing what we need to do, RTO was speeding up the trains, and there was a mandate for them to slow the trains down, and it wasn't happening. So I just want everybody to be mindful that the buses is the one that fights these battles, and we can't fight these battles by ourselves. We have to all be on page to fight these battles. Ruben, can we get $40 an hour top and easy pass? At least 10 trips a week paid for to and from work. Well, we did put in for the we put in for easy pass in this negotiation, Ruben. It wasn't. I guess it wasn't really popular. It was popular amongst our membership, but it gave a big pushback. It wasn't. I think it's something maybe we might have to attack next time around. But easy pass is something that I want to see. I mean, myself, I represent in Manhattan. So a lot of us who work in Manhattan is going to be the highest impact on congestive pricing when it finally hits us. So an easy pass or some type of deal for the employees would be something that's good. And you got to remember something. I'm on Twitter also, by the way. There's people out there that just don't like us. All right? They don't like us. And I'll leave it at that. I lost my train of thought on that one. But anyway, Nick Ballard, the union probably could. He was saying the union could do better, and there's no doubt that we can all do better. But in doing better, it's like someone just said, "What's the temperature? What's your temp?" They maybe testing the temperature. I mean, they started seeing the rallies. They started seeing all the actions in the Department of Buses. Not just what you've seen on TV, but some of the things that we were just doing. We was just doing on a daily basis, running up on depots, just checking management on issues right there at the doorstep, tweeting it out. The Twitter caught fire. The Daily News was catching the tweet, so it started to be some pressure out there on a lot of fronts, showing the membership being angry, at least in the Department of Buses. All right. Let me scroll down and look at some more of these questions. Yes, Ilshai, we need to stay strong, but we do have a lot of internal strife in our union. We have a lot of we have strife. We're not a union that is standing solidly together. It's just the realities of our local right now. No matter, it's like we're the Republicans and the Democrats. You know, we're always attacking each other on things, whether it's right, wrong, or indifference. A lot of times it's just a narrative that's being told because maybe I plan on running, so I'm not gonna. I have to do what I need to do to make the other guy look bad. And I guess in politics, that's something that you should do, but in a labor union, that's something that you don't want to do, because when you have so much strife and internal fighting, it brings the membership and it catches the membership in the middle, and then the membership loses faith in the whole process of the union. The union is not its officers. I always say this: the union is all of us. It's the membership. I can go out there yelling and screaming all I want, but if I don't have people with me, behind me, then they don't take me serious. They just say, "Oh, look at that babbling fool yelling and screaming." But once we're standing strong together on any issue, then everybody pays attention to that. Just like there was big discussions like why we did when we did our rally, why we did the rally in the to an empty building. Why we didn't do a rally 9 in the morning or 10 in the morning? And the answer was that was and always will be, we got media attention, and as y'all all saw, y'all need to give yourselves a round of applause, because you guys is the ones that showed up. They saw an angry group of people, and everybody remembers 2005. Now remember, the strike issue. The threat of a strike is the most powerful thing you have over the strike itself. Once you strike, everybody gets hurt. But the threat of the strike is what gives you the power. All right? CG, let me try to get you. We're gonna no, CG. You're gonna have Metro North or Long Island Railroad, but what's added to that is we're gonna get the MTA bus express pass for Queens, Staten Island, and MTA bus. All right, we're gonna get that. I think Danny Cruz, you're asking the same thing. Commuter passes for express buses. Does this mean all of our members will be able to swipe into express buses with no issue? That's my interpretation, Danny. That is my interpretation. What I'm not sure of is it a computation, or is it something that they're going to give to us? I think it makes sense they just give us the express pass, because a bus is a bus. Now the railroad is a different system. So, but I'm not 100% on that. I will go back to check on that. There's another question down here. Do shifters ever get an increase on pay during contracts? Worse health conditions. Okay, the shifters, like an increase in shifters' pay. I mean, we've put in for these. We put in for increases on these things. It didn't happen this time around, though. So, how long we on here for now? Well, anyway, okay, well, that's not being done in this contract. Danny Cruz, is that a universal pass? Yes, I believe it is a universal pass, Nick. But it wasn't called that. It just said. Let me go back to what it said about the passes. It just said that blah, 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 blah. Just says we're gonna get the express pass. So that's just basically repeating what was said in the executive board today. I have to find out a little bit more about the questioning that you're asking. So that's it, guys. I'll continue this discussion offline. Remember, when you get your contract in the mail, just vote. However you want to vote, just vote. I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but you guys, whatever you do, just vote. Let me see. Ruben, I'm gonna read. If I'm on the job for 18 months and I'm at second year pay under the previous contract, am I entitled to year 2 pay under the new contract? Yes. You are. You just get the increase. Whatever time you got on the job, whatever increases you get, you're entitled to the increase of that time frame. James Cornick, retirees don't vote and never did. Felix Baez, what's the deal with OTO reset? We didn't lose no OTO, so I don't know I didn't hear anything about OTO reset, but we didn't lose no OTO. No OTO changes. No. Richard Rogers, what's up? We should start. Yes, Ashai. I believe we should always keep the pressure on. We need to let management know that we're serious about what we do and what our value is. Nick, thank you too, bro. CG, thank you. Danny Cruz. That's the one thing I'm not 100% sure. I think they're gonna put packages together, mail them out, but they're gonna cut the packages on the contracts are gonna be mailed to you with the ballot. Ask questions, ask a lot of questions, keep asking questions. McBride, what about retirees passes for us traveling on Metro North? No, sir. They made that clear. It's just computation while you're working. They're not going to give that to the retirees. Matter of fact, when I retire, I'm going to lose that. What up, Gret? What up, Hollywood? Ruben Smith, you said, does that mean second year guys get $10 raises? I don't know the answer to that. John Noor, is our 2% medical cost based on 40 hours a week or per hour? It's still based on 40 hours a week. John Marlowe, thank you for your time, brother. Is our tick pay going up? Yes, it is. It's going up to $2. Gary Gatlin, what's up, bro? Julio Miguel, what's up? No problem. Thank you for listening to me. Randy Pienek, what are the other givebacks? The one giveback I said that I mentioned was that $100 hospital thing and the raises in prescription drugs. The prescription drugs, zero generic. Prescription drugs went for name brand, went from $10 to $20. And for specialty drugs, the $40. So that's all I know is the give back. That's all that was. That's all I know. That's a give back. I mean, in all fairness, I can want all I want. There is a mandate in this country going on about healthcare. I know everybody knows this. Nobody's in the darkness about that. And we had to do we had to do whatever we needed to do as a union to secure healthcare, because one of the major blockages is why the conversations broke down in this round of negotiations is because of what they was trying to impose on us, not only with their ridiculous proposals that they put out there, but also what they wanted in healthcare. I mean, the industry is getting very expensive. The drug companies are making tons and millions of dollars, and it's going on all over the country. This healthcare is just running rampant. And it's I'll just give you an example of a figure that was given, and in 2018 they had 34,000 emergency room visits, which cost $1,500 per member. Urgent care costs, by comparison, offers nearly identical the same thing, and the cost to the plan was $175 per person. So this is, if you want to view that as the give back, then that is a give back. Is it worth everything else? That's up to you to make that determination. What's up, Izzy? What's up, Ace? How you doing, Brosco? My brother. Phil Trotman, what's up? Oh, man, Dallas. I hope you ain't watching them Cowboys. What's up, Eric Blackwell? OT cap reset is what I explained earlier. It's just that when you get a raise, the you get 150% increase on what you can make in overtime. Currently, it's about $153,000 is the cap. When you get a raise, that's going to go up by that percentage. So I have to sit down and do mathematics. There's a formula to it, but it's going to be your salary cap will be higher. That's all that means. We put that in the contract to make sure that you don't get capped sooner than you would have to be capped. Because if you didn't have that $150,000 increase on the salary cap towards overtime, then because you got a 2% raise, you'll get and then you start working overtime, you'll get to the cap a lot quicker. So we have to raise that cap. Thank you, Brother Izzy. Yeah, Shy, I can post it as soon as I get it, because I think there's some literature floating out there now on what the pay going from now to the top pay will be. So when I get my hands on that, I'll definitely post it on this page. If you look on Danny Cruz's page, I think he might have put something up on it already. Thank you, hey Lonnie, man. Congratulations. I gotta talk to you anyway, because I think you shocked me. I think you didn't move the hell out of New York. I see you got your stamp going. That's good. I'm proud of you. Gatlin, why we can't never get at least a 4 to 5% raise due to living costs in the city expenses? That's a good question. I can't answer it. I can't answer why we can't get it. The patterns haven't been that way, maybe, but I can't answer that question. Just like you want to see it, I want to see it too. Machine Truesdale, what would be the difference between the high option Aetna and the regular Aetna health plans? I think the high option really affects you on the dental, but I believe the high option also has something with hospitalization. So it gave you more time on hospitalization, but with this new thing with the hospitalization, it still would stay the same as far as hospitalization, but you have to be admitted to the hospital. They have to keep you in the hospital. No, not keep you. They have to admit you. All right, for you not to be charged that $100. So I think that part stays the same. The only difference now is now you're covered in all 50 states of the United States here. Yes, CG, asthma prescription keeps going up. I got a prescription. I have asthma too. I have a prescription. They don't charge me for it at all. Next time I speak to you, I'll tell you what my prescription is. Every prescription is different, but I'll share it with you anyway. Izzy, thank you, brother. Danny Cruz, no problem. I appreciate members like you who are very interested in your futures. And listen, you don't have to agree with me with everything, but as long as you guys are interested in your future, that's what's important. And you got to continue to fight, because I have a fear. And I'll share it with you. The fear that the union, for our young, our young people don't really care as much, and that's my fear. And when I see the young people getting involved, it makes me proud, very proud. keep staying involved. Brother Quiones. Ruben Smith, going back to your question. So when we have to wait until year 6, 5 to get the new raises? I don't think I understand your question, Ruben. Could you rephrase it? What's up, Nelson Then? James Cornick. Yeah, James, I have to agree with you because there's a lot of urgent cares opening up all over the place now. What's up, Spencer? Eric Bonds, what's up? Hey, Angel, what's going on? Dennis Octavio, thank you, brother. Whatever time you got, Ruben, whatever time you got on the job now, it doesn't change even with the raise. You just get the increases, but it doesn't change. You're still progressively working towards your time to get top pay. Willie Jourdain, top pay will be $37.42. Yep, that's what I saw. I saw, okay, someone said 38, but I saw 37 and change as a top pay. Anyway, guys, hey, Sha, when I get all that stuff, I'll definitely put it up there for you. Pet Grave, what's up? Gerald Martinez, what's going on? Paul Morrison, what's up? Waniki, what's up? I'll answer any questions offline. And by the way, just in case y'all didn't know, I'm on vacation, but it's like a working vacation, so here I am. Anyway, you guys be safe. Have a wonderful evening. Love all y'all. Be strong. And all you have to do is vote. However you feel. You're not going to get influenced by me. I'm just going to present it out to you. But just vote. Talk to you guys soon. Be safe.